Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to get infinite food, water, and healing supplies in Subnautica 2. And the best part about this is it's really easy, so you can leave those poor shaking water slugs alone, and you'll be able to get water, food, healing supplies, and even power for your base from this method. Now one nice thing about this is that unlike Subnautica 1, these will respawn, so you can get infinite fibrous pulp here, which is used for a lot of different things, and over time these will end up respawning, and it's honestly pretty quick. And starting off from the life pod, this is where we're going to have to gather our resources, so I'd encourage you to use the survival multi-tool healer and go around looking for all these different plants. This is the only one that we don't care about. We're looking for things like the lucifer rot sacks here, which you can grab the orb in the middle and then break it apart to get yourself even more pulps. And for the acidic ryon here, a little pro tip is if you get rid of these here first before you grab the healing item in the center, you won't get shocked with the toxicity, so that's the way to do it. These are found in caves near the life pod. And currently in the early access, there are 8 different plantables. One of them doesn't have an icon currently, but there are 3 that we really care about. I guess 4, since if you're going to set up a base in a different area. The acid ryon will be more so for the healing packs. The cradle shoot root will give you different things like grease and rubber. And the macaron sponge here being the best option, as it's small and it gives us a lot of fibrous pulp. Now, another thing is the necrolyzed cysts are only available in specific regions near the base if you go over to the northern section there from the life pod. So those don't spawn anywhere else in the later game, so you do want to have some of those later on as they're used for making like heavy acids. But we will need a grow bed, which I'll show you where to get. So when we start from the life pod here, we're going to go into our tadpole, and what we're going to do is we're going to travel between the E and the 105 here. So just traveling straight forward for 1200 meters will take you all the way to this alien tower here, which is almost there. So then we're going to proceed. If you have the alien ruins, that's where we're going, as the grow beds are located here. And actually kind of funny how it's located, but I would recommend setting up a base here, as this is a great location. But when you get to the ancient or alien ruins outpost, research outpost here, we're going to look onto the roof. So you will need to bring your scanner here, and there's going to be one grow bed right here with some lucifer rod sacks. And then whenever we go over to the other side, there's one hidden right down here. This took me the longest time to find, but both of these are what we need to scan to be able to craft these. Now, as mentioned, there's a few that we want to prioritize because they're going to give us better bang for our buck. I like to have a few of these here just in case that we do need the necrolyzed cysts so that we can craft our heavy acids. This electric one here, do not craft it. I just have it for the pretty glowing effect because it kind of functions like a light. But what we're looking for is mostly going to be placing down these. Now, I do have a lot of these sponges up on the top because these are the absolute best that we're going to be looking for because they give us the most fibrous pulp. Now, the great thing about these is you just go up, you cut them, they give you 3 fibrous pulp each. These cradle shoot roots being great because again they got that lucifer rot sack there for different crafting like the rubber, and then after that you then can rip this apart and get 3 fibrous pulp. Now it looks like they disappear, but they do respawn. This is gonna be one of the best bang for our buck in terms of efficiency, but I also like to have some of the acid ryon sacks here as well, just so we can create some healing items as well, because face it, you're gonna get hit by things often in this game. Now these are also great. I really like the macaron sponges because they take up the least amount of space, and they're gonna give us 3 of these fibrous pulps. So they're great for the efficiency because of their low space that they take up. They also give a bit of a glow off too, which is really nice. And you can also go with the freesia flowers if you like the appearance of these, because these will also give you 3 of them, but I just found that these stacked up a little bit better in terms of the space. And another thing is whenever we're going to craft these, so the grow bed will typically have the snapping off. So you want to press F to place this down so you can match it up with your base. And then when we go to plant things, they will have the snapping off. Do not put snapping on because it is easier to plant it here in a row, but you're not going to be able to get them as close together. So it's typically a little bit better for us to turn off snapping, because with snapping on here, we see we can put this is the closest we can place it to this one. But if we turn snapping off, you can see you can actually get this even closer. So that's the ideal way to do this, because you get more, you can fit more of these in a particular space. You're going to set them down and you can see they take a little bit of time to grow, but it's honestly not that bad at all. And you're just going to go, and eventually you'll have a large amount of these set up because you're going to get these and then be able to craft more of these from it. And afterwards, you can go into your base and either at a processor or the fabricator, we have a couple different options. So when we look at food, you have things like the oily salad. Sounds disgusting, but it only costs us 2 fibrous pulp for 20 food. That's pretty good. There's also the nutrient block, which has double that amount, but you do need to create a biofuel block and 1 salt to be able to do this. Now, salt is found in deep caves, and there's actually quite a few when you get to this location, but we will need to go over to the processor here to create these. So the biofuel blocks will take up more fibrous fibrous pulp here, but you can also create these from pent if you wanted to. So there's also crab feces. But the thing is with these, they can also be used to fuel a bioreactor. So you can go ahead here, set in a biofuel block, and that's going to give you some extra power, which is nice. You can also set it to overdrive. If you have things like metal farms going, this will just give you an increase to your overall power. Depends on the size of your base and really what you got going on with it. But in the processor here, that's where we're getting most of our stuff. So the biofuel blocks, but also the most important thing here is how to get water, because we don't want to be dealing with those poor shaking slugs. So for 3 fibrous pulp, you can create a water. And this is one of the quickest and most effective ways to do this. This is also how you can create some mild acids too. And we can also create obviously our strong acids here if you create the necrolyzed cysts. We can also create first aid from medical gels here. So using these is pretty good, but there's even better ways to do that if we go over to our fabricator, because with this, we can then go ahead and create the enhanced first aid kit. So that's 100 health versus the 50 health, literally double, much better. This takes 1 medical gel sack and 1 fiber, which is really easy because that just takes 2 fibrous pulp. So ends up being way more efficient to do it in the fabricator. I'd recommend doing this if you want to craft some healing items. So then you can go ahead with the enhanced first aid kit. So very straightforward. I'd also recommend grabbing the fish here unless you're doing like a pacifist run, but oily salad, honestly, not that bad for food. The nutrient block is a little bit better, but you do need to have some salt. But again, there's many other ways like the pavlova here in the late game where you can find the deep wing egg clumps and create these as well using the Sherimoya rot sacks. And as mentioned, if you want to create more of these, you can get a lot of grease and rubber this way and the fibrous pulp. So a lot of different items here that are just really quick and easy to make in either the fabricator or the processor there. And to make this even more efficient, what you can do is there is one style of chest in the game, the tailing chest, which we can actually place outside. The best thing about this is that means that we can literally just set up one of these here, grab what we need from our items. So we can go in, craft a bunch of these fibrous pulp here, and literally just go ahead farming them. It literally becomes like Stardew Valley at this point, and you'll see that they're starting to grow away again. So we ran out of them. Whenever you see the items drop there, you know you're full of items. And then you're going to go in here, just quickly deposit them into this chest, because when you have items in your chest, it actually takes it out of the chest whenever you're going to craft. So the best part about this is these won't be ugly inside of your base. You can literally just shove them away on the roof of your base and go back to collecting these. These will respawn relatively quickly. The pents here are actually pretty quick to pick up too. So you could go with the pent if you want a bit of a quicker method of doing this, and then just going and dumping all of these into our chest here. So this would be the fastest way to be able to craft as much food and water and energy and healing items as possible in Subnautica 2. So if this video is useful, please let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button as well. And I also did a video on how to optimize your base for storage. Let me know if there's any other Subnautica 2 guides you'd like to see, and I hope you guys all have an incredible day.